Let's look at this problem involving compound interest. A sum of $10,000 is invested at an annual rate of 8%. Find the balance in the account after 5 years, subject to continuous compounding and also quarterly compounding. Let's look at continuous compounding first, because there's only one formula that you can use to determine how much is in the account if it's compounded continuously. And that formula is A is equal to P e to the r times t power, where A represents the amount after a certain number of years, P is your given principal, R is your rate. Careful, you have to change your rate into a decimal. And then T, of course, is time in years. So let's plug in our given information. 10,000 e to the 0.08 times 5. All you need to do now is just put this in your calculator. You might have to, depending on the type of calculator you own, hit second function and then your LN button to get the E to show up. So when you put this in your calculator, let's round this amount to the nearest cent. To the nearest penny, this is the amount that will be in the account after 5 years if this particular account was compounded continuously. Now, let's say, for instance, it's compounded other ways besides continuously. If it's compounded other ways, you have to use a different formula. So let's move on over here and figure out how much is in the account if it's compounded quarterly. Here's the formula you would use. It has the same given information, but it's a different formula. The only new element is N. N means the number of times your account is compounded in a calendar year. P, R, and T remain the same. So we plug in 10,000. R is still 0.08. And if something is compounded quarterly, how many times a year is that? Right, 4 times a year. So N is 4, and T is still 5 years. It's a good idea to simplify things and multiply before you put this in your calculator. Makes it a lot easier. So we have 1 plus 0.02 to the 20th power, which would be 10,000. And I'm just adding the inside part here, giving us 1.02 to the 20th power. And then just put this in your calculator. Again, depending on what type of calculator you have, you could probably put this just like you see it. Your exponent key might be a little different. You might have a y to the x key or something that looks like a little rooftop. So when you plug everything in, we end up with $14,859. And I rounded this to the nearest penny, but look in your textbook and your ebook. The directions might ask you to round to the nearest whole dollar. So watch out for different directions. So this is the amount that is in the account after 5 years if the account was compounded quarterly. In the next video, we will discuss more things with logarithmic functions and exponential functions.